Emanuel Luick was born in 1866 and died in 1947. But of particular interest to us who lived in the Apostle Islands was that he was a lighthouse keeper on a couple of the lighthouses in the Apostle Islands, but more particularly between 1892 and 1920, he was the lighthouse keeper on Sand Island. Mr. Luick was a professional photographer and took many photographs during his stay on the island. He got married in 1896 to Ella Richardson. They were divorced in 1906. He then married Allie Buck in 1911. Because of the sheer volume of Mr. Luick's work, and some of the quality of his original work has deteriorated over the 125 years, I will be using a 5-second for the original, 10-second for the enhanced, and 20-second for the colored version. This particular photograph is of the Stella, the boat used by the patrons at Camp Stella at Shaw Point. This photo may not be a Luick photo, as it shows a Norring girl sitting on top of a boat. In the background, we see the Jacob Johnson home from a different angle, the building that may have become the shop in later years, as well as the building where the loggers stayed, and a boat being built on the shore at Moe's. Also note the camera in front of the girl that looks suspiciously like Fred Hanson's camera from later years. This is an idyllic photo of Emanuel Luick and 3 women in a rowboat in East Bay. Shaw Point is in the far background. We seldom see Mr. Luick photographed with men. It's almost always with women. The writing on this photo says Sand Island 1909. In the photo in the back is Bessie Nelson Palm. In the front, I believe, is a woman whose last name was Dunkel. She was from Bayfield. The Islanders were very patriotic and took their patriotism seriously. This is one of my favorite photos attributed to Mr. Luick. It shows the harvesting of ice by the Booth Fisheries in Bayfield, Wisconsin. The reddish buildings are Booth Fishery buildings. Between the 2 bigger red buildings, we see the old Bayfield Hotel, which no longer exists, and the steeple from the Catholic Church. I am sure the Bayfield Heritage has far better quality photos of Luick's than what I have, but this particular storm photo in its AI enhanced version is very dramatic. This is an early photo taken at the lighthouse on Sand Island. The lighthouse would be to the left in this picture. It shows the outhouse and a shed looking west. The lake would be behind the person taking the photo. This photo was taken of a group visiting the Sand Island Lighthouse in the early 1900s. There were many visitors over the 20-plus years that Luick was lighthouse keeper. This is a random photo of a cave taken by Mr. Luick. I am guessing that it is on Swallow Point. However, it looks like it could also be the big cave over at West Bay. I guess that this is a group that was visiting the lighthouse and they walked down to East Bay, or they started at East Bay and walked to the lighthouse. But anyway, they had their group photo taken in one of the fields in East Bay. This is a photo of Emanuel and his first wife, Ella. They were married in 1896 and divorced in 1906. He was 30 years old and she was just a teenager. The story on the island is that she left in a huff for some reason in 1905. A defining moment in the history of Sand Island was the sinking of the Savona in September of 1905. These next photos were taken in October, and they show Mr. Luick and his assistant, I believe Mr. Hudson, collecting clothing, blankets, etc. that had washed up on the shore near the lighthouse. That may even be the remnant of the sunken Savona to the far right in the background on the black and white enhanced photo. Getting back to one of Emanuel Luick's favorite subjects, this is Bessie Nelson Palm, our father's half-sister, sitting on a rail holding a rifle. She was probably in her late teens at the time. One of the more interesting photos in the Luick collection is this certificate for the Sand Island Telephone Company issued to William Palm for $10 for one share. They were looking to raise $2,000. The telephone company lasted only a couple of years. Mr. Luick captured some of the best storm photos that have ever been taken on Sand Island. This particular one shows a white cap as well as a wave washing against the lighthouse dock. It is little wonder that this dock ultimately washed out from the many storms it endured. The lighthouse keeper generally left the islands before Christmas of any year, so these next couple of photos show snow on the buildings, so were probably taken in late November or early December. This first photo shows the sheds, the powerhouse, the outhouse, and another shed that stood behind the lighthouse. This second photo, probably taken the same day as the previous photo, shows a picture of the lighthouse taken from the southwest side of the building looking to the northeast. This photo once again shows Mr. Luick with two nice-looking women. They are probably sitting down by the shore on the shelf in front of the lighthouse. This looks to be one of the earliest known photos of Moe's Dock. It was before all of the fish houses were built on the dock, as well as some of the support structures that were on the land. The two boats there look to be very old. This could have been in the late 1800s. That could be the Star on the inside, as the name is so short. The Star was owned by Harold Gall, my grandfather. This photo is captioned "Moe Women Making Hay." However, given how nicely they are dressed, I would guess that this was a staged opportunity for Luick to take a picture. Although this photo is not taken on Sand Island or on any of the apostles, I included it because it showed the inside of a Victorian home in the late 1800s. This happens to be Luick's home in Iron River. This is another great nature scene taken by Luick. This shows the ice buildup along the shore of Lake Superior on Sand Island in the early 1900s. In contrast to the previous picture, this is one of a sunrise overlooking Lake Superior. As the lighthouse faced east, I am guessing this is the sunrise and not the sunset. This is a photo that shows a horse being pulled from a boat. I have been told that this is on Sand Island, and it is the only one of its kind that I have ever seen. This photo appears to be taken from the dock at Camp Stella, where we now call Shaw Point. It shows a little girl pretending to row a boat with the Shaw Hill Farm in the background.